wanted to really talk about our culture, man. Because I'm gonna tell you something. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on the last, I would say, few months that has really, I'm not gonna say ticked me off, but it really makes me wonder who has control of not only our culture, but everything we do as a people. And we're going to talk about a few things because when I look at what's going on in today's society as far as like politics and religion and what's going on with music and all this other shit that's going on in today's society, it gets to me. And you know why it gets to me? It gets to me because black folk as a whole, I'm not going to say they don't care. They don't care because I think they do care. I think we do care as a culture. But to me, it's like, you know, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? You know what I'm saying? Where is the culture? I got to go back to the 1940s and the 1950s. I mean, when I was a young lad, those days, the 1940s and the 1950s, I wasn't no young lad, but my mother was a young lady. And when my mother was growing up, black folk had a certain decorum about themselves. This was pre-civil rights. And me and my mother, man, the reason why I want to talk about this is because me and my mother, we sat down this week and we were just talking. We were just, just rapping about stuff. And we were watching the news together. And she asked me, she said, son, why are we doing this why are we doing this? And I told my mother, and she's 70, she'll be 78 in July. I told her we lost our way. I told her, remember when you were a young girl and grandma and grandpa, y'all had to wear, dresses, and your brothers and my uncles and them had to wear dress clothes and stuff like that. Because back in the days, the black culture, you had to look dignified. And it's not because we wanted to be better than everybody, but we wanted to set a certain narrative because the narrative was going to be set by the man that you claim that you don't really care about how he thinks about you today, the white man. Back in the days, black folk wore suits and ties everywhere unless they had a blue-collar job and they wore a uniform to the factory. You've seen it. If you go back and watch old tapes of civil rights movements like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all those civil rights movement movies or movies and segments and things like that, the white and black color, now it wasn't in color, it was black and white. All the men either had suits on or they dressed business casual, and all the ladies had on dresses and things like that. That was how it was back in the days. Fast forward to today, and we could go ahead and we could talk about a plethora of things. We could talk about how the Democratic Party under LBJ finessed everybody and told us that all Republicans were racist. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Donald Trump. I'm not the biggest Donald Trump guy. I don't like the guy. But the one thing that people need to understand is that you need to know who you voting for. I'm gonna tell you the okie doke that LBJ and all these Democrats from LBJ on forward put on the black people. Black people were told that all Republicans were racist. That's something that has always been told to black people, that all Republicans are racist. Doesn't matter. That's why the Democrats have a stronghold over the black vote. And if you're a black conservative or you're a black Republican, you're called a coon and an Uncle Tom. Perfect example. I'll give an example. The last governor for Maryland was a Republican. Larry Hogan, Republican mayor, served, did a great job. My mother, even my own mother, told me that Larry Hogan did a wonderful job as a Republican mayor. If you go to Democratic ran cities, and I tell people this all the time, you go to Democratic ran cities. Why is the crime rate so high in Democratic ran cities? I'm keeping it a buck. Why is it so high in Democratic ran cities? It's because the Democrats already got your vote. They can push any candidate they want out there, and you're going to vote for them regardless. They can put Sally A and Sally B out there. If Sally A is a Democrat, a white Democrat, and Sally B is a black Republican, you're going to vote for the white Democrat regardless. Because, like I said, they put it in your brain that all Republicans are racist. They put that in. And the sad thing about this is that when you look at it from a wider perspective, I always ask people, why won't you give a Republican person a chance? Why won't you give a Republican a chance to run DC? We all know that Democrats have had a strong hold over major cities for a long time. I remember back in the days, I remember going to Charlotte, North Carolina back in the 90s, back when Republicans ran the city. And when Republicans ran Charlotte, North Carolina, it was all good. I mean, streets were clean, all that stuff. But then when Democrats started coming and running the cities, that's when everything started to happen. Everything started to happen. You had crime go up, all these different things. You look at Chicago. I can give you the perfect example, Chicago. Chicago has been a blue city for years, but the crime rate still stays the same. It still stays the same. And I don't want to say that, Democrats are all bad and all these things, but I'm going to tell you something. When people go to vote, you got to look at the history of the person you're running for, voting for. This is why certain Democrats can stay in Congress for 40, 50 years. Because A, they don't have any competition because they want to keep that seat. Or B, they know black folk going to vote for them regardless. Black folk going to vote for them regardless. I used to be that way. I used to say to myself, I'm going to go vote for this person because it's a Democrat. All Republicans are bad. All Republicans are racist. I was just like everybody else. And the sad thing is when you see that and you come to the realization that all Republicans ain't racist, you like, damn, for real? I'm gonna give a story. I'm gonna give a story because I used to work at the Capitol. I used to work at the United States Capitol. I worked there for 8 years. I had this mentality that all Republicans were bad. So one day I'm working where I'm working at, and Mitch McConnell, I mean, a lot of people don't like him, but Mitch McConnell comes to where I work at. He comes into the store and he's looking at certain things. He's with his aide or whatever. And I go over to talk to Mitch McConnell. And we talked about everything from baseball to what's going on in society. We talked for about 35 minutes. And that conversation made me realize that, hey, all Republicans ain't bad. I've had bad experiences with more Democratic leaders than Republican leaders. Now, I'm not going to say I didn't have bad experiences with Republican people, because I've had. But the problem is that a lot of black, they know, and I'm going to tell you something. Democrats know black folk don't do their homework. They know for a fact that black folk don't do their homework. I always tell people, when you go to the polls and vote, make sure you know who you voting for. People complained about Muriel Bowser all these years, complaining she only did stuff for certain people, but Muriel Bowser's a Democrat. Oh, you complain about Muriel Bowser and the work she did in D.C., but you all voted for her. You voted for her because what? She was a Democrat? Oh, you complain about a person, but you voted for her because she's a Democrat. Now, getting back to the culture thing. Why is it that when somebody calls the culture out, they're labeled Uncle Tom or Raccoon or something? I'm going to keep it a buck. You know why the YNs don't respect the OGs anymore? The YNs don't respect the OGs anymore because they figured, like, well, when y'all were growing up, y'all didn't do right, so why should we do right? See, I always tell people, young people, especially younger people now, you may think they're dumb, but they're not as dumb as you think they are. These YNs know what the hell they doing. They know what they doing is wrong. Well, some of them do, some of them don't. But see, getting back to politics, a lot of Democratic ran cities, they'll let you get away with small crimes. You want to rob somebody, oh, you get away with it. You get away with it here and there. But then, after a while, they got enough on you to put you in jail for 20 years. You wondering why they sentencing you to 20 years for a robbery or something like this. Go back and look at the 94 crime bill. The crime bill that was designed by Democrats. The former president of the United States, Joe Biden, was one of the architects of the 94 crime bill. The 3 strikes and you're outlaws. Bill Clinton signed it. Put it in law. 3 strikes, you automatically got life in prison. There are people in jail now for some small charges, but they still serving life in prison off of the 94 crime bill. And don't give me, oh, it was right at the time. No. Perfect example. And shout out to Angry Man for saying this on his live stream. The Julio Fulio guys who did that to Julio Fulio. Those guys, they were saying we would give them life or give them the death penalty. Guy said, nah. Why are we going to give them the death penalty? Just put them in prison for the rest of their lives. Put them all in prison for the rest of their lives so we can have modern day slavery. You know what the prison system is, and black folk need to understand this. And this is why we need to, talk to these young YNs and tell them, like, yo, when you go to prison, they can use you for modern day slavery. They gonna have you doing stuff like license plates. And yeah, remember back in the days when they used to have men in prison working for these, you have, over in China, they have those slave shops over there. And now they covertly got these other companies having prisoners manufacture their products. So instead of paying people, let's say, minimum wage to manufacture these products, we'll either ship the production out of the United States, but to make it United States made, we'll go ahead and have the prisoners do it. And you know who doing it? The prisoners who are black, the black men. Those are the ones who are doing it. And the YNs, they just perpetuating the same BS. They perpetuating what they see on TV. This is why I said, man, back in the 80s, man, back in the 70s and 80s, where you had Crush Groove and Run DMC and Public Enemy, Fight the Power, and LL Cool J doing love songs, and Big Daddy Kane and all those guys. That's when hip-hop was hip-hop. Then NWA came with Jerry Heller, and all hell broke loose from there. Now we don't even have control of our own culture. Our own culture is being used by other races of people. Hip-hop is a black culture. Fashion is a black culture. I'm going to tell you something. Do you think dancing and all that, the dance moves like Elvis Presley and all those white guys who knew how to dance, you think they got rhythm? You think they had rhythm? No, they didn't have no goddamn rhythm. They went ahead, saw some black folk do it, and said, oh, I'm going to go ahead and make it popular. I'm going to go ahead and do it myself. And Elvis, that's how Elvis Presley became who he is. He hijacked black folk. See, I'm going to tell you something about our culture. We're the only ones who don't profit from it. We don't profit from it. You know who profits from it? Those record labels profit from it. Yeah, well, we'll go ahead and give you a couple of millionaires. We'll give you a couple of millionaires here and there. We'll give you a Jay-Z. We'll give you a Nas. We'll give you a Master P. We'll give you a Birdman. We'll give you a Lil Wayne. We'll give you a Drake. We'll give you those people. We'll make them multimillionaires. We'll give you a Kendrick Lamar. But you know who making the billions of dollars? Those executives who aren't our color. See, they'll let guys like Jay-Z sit at the table because Jay-Z knew how to play the game. I'm not the biggest fan of Dame Dash, but I think what Jay-Z did to Dame Dash was 1,000% wrong. And I'm not the biggest fan of Dame Dash, but if it wasn't for Dame Dash, where would Jay-Z be? Yeah, I'm saying it. Without Dame Dash, where would Jay-Z be? See, our culture is something that early on, it was unique to us. It was unique to us as black folk. It was something that you can actually take and say to yourself, yo, this is ours. The music, the fashion, the way we carried ourselves. You remember back in the days where you had the Cosby Show and you had Family Matters and you had the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And even earlier then you had shows like the Jeffersons. I remember the Jeffersons, watching reruns of the Jeffersons. And the Jeffersons depicted a black man opening a cleaning business and moving up to the Upper East Side. That was something that was major. And the Jeffersons ran for what, 11 years? That TV show ran for 11 years. I think it was 11 years. Then you had Good Times. Good Times, to me, was a very, very underrated show. Because if you know the history of Good Times, James Evans and Florida Evans, they were on another show. But then when that show went off the air, they went ahead and did a spinoff, and it was called Good Times. Esther Rolle, when she found out they were doing the show, the people didn't want her to have the dad in the household. They wanted to show a single mother struggling with 3 kids. No, she said, no, I want the family structure. See, this is back in the 70s when the family structure was still intact to a degree. You know, you still had mothers and fathers, and even though the single mother regime started to make climb in the 70s, you still had TV shows depicting a family. Good Times ran, then you had The Cosby Show, Family Matters, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. All these different shows depicting a black family. Uncle Phil, Carl Winslow, Dr. Bill, Dr. Bill Cosby. All these people. Where are these shows now? You had a couple of them here and there, but where are these shows now? See, our culture now is just a bunch of ratchet shit. A bunch of ratchet shit. I remember, and the perfect example is female rap music. I remember back in the days, man, listening to Queen Latifah and MC Lyte and Yo-Yo and all these women who had to compete with the men, and they knew that they had to have the best rap skills. Lil' Kim came along and Foxy Brown came along and all that stuff, that sexual stuff. That's when everything went out the window. And I thought we saved it with Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill, man. I always tell ladies, man, even young ladies, go ahead and listen to the Miseducation of the Lauryn Hill album. The first and only album she made. Phenomenal album. Lauryn Hill can sing, rap, do everything. But she only made one album. But I would tell any woman, any mother, have your daughter listen to that album. Now, all the women music is talking about getting shit out of men. Oh, how you finesse a man. Oh, sell your body, or do this and do that. Meg Thee Stallion and Young Miami and Cardi B and Nicki Minaj and all this other stuff. Where are the women out there who can, share positive music? Oh, I forgot. We don't have control of the culture no more. The culture is ran by white folk. They control it. They say, "Oh, if you want to do that type of music, we can't push you. We'll push Sexy Red. We'll push Glorilla." Think about it. And you go on the man side, all you hear is drug dealer music. Yeah, you may have a guy like Kendrick Lamar to come out once in a blue moon, but at the end of the day, where are the other Kendrick Lamar? Where are the other guys that are sharing positive vibe music? Oh, I forgot. NBA YoungBoy is the hottest artist now, but he's talking about doing stuff to his ops. And his main op, Lil Durk, was hot until he went to jail for trying to knock off one of NBA YoungBoy's affiliates. That's what rap music is today. Who's going on the men's side? Who's going to kill each other first? And on the women's side, how much money I can finesse from a man? And that music is what's perpetuated in today's culture. It's perpetuated in what we got in today's culture. And this is why, people talk about the, taking accountability, changing the narrative. You really can't change the narrative because the narrative is a facade. The narrative is a facade. Salute the angry man for saying, he said, man, you got to change reality first. And this starts in every individual person. You got to change reality for yourself. This is why I tell black men who are fathers, you need to take your sons and raise your sons. Don't, you know what I'm saying? The problem is, and I'm going to tell you, ladies, if you have a man who is the father of your child and he wants to raise his son, give him to him. I don't mean give him to him when he's 14 and 15 years old. Give him to him when he's young, when he's in preschool, and let him take him full time. Let him raise your son. You can see him on weekends. But see, women don't want to do that. Women want to have control of their sons and don't want the father to have control, and that's the problem. Remember Boys in the Hood where, Trey used to go over his father's house on the weekends, and then he got in trouble in school, and then the mother said, you know what, I gotta send you, you gotta learn how to be a man, so I gotta take you over to Mr. Styles' house, who was Lawrence Fishburne. And Lawrence Fishburne taught Trey valuable lessons because he's a black man. He was also a business owner. And you see the difference between Trey, Doughboy, and Ricky. The two friends he had, both of them died. Ricky died, and a little bit after that, Doughboy died. They were the product of a single mother household. She loved Ricky more because she hated Doughboy's father. See, people don't understand that. That's the narrative that goes around about our culture. See, a lot of women, what they'll do is they'll have babies by guys they know for a fact all they wanted to do was to shack up with them, and they have a baby and they get mad because the man ain't doing nothing for their kids. You knew that man was a piece of shit when you met him. You knew he was a piece of shit when you first met him, but you didn't think about that. And fellas, you knew she was a basket case when you first met her, but all you wanted was what was between her legs, not knowing that if you got her pregnant, that's 18 years of hell. 18 years of hell, bro. Ladies, he got you pregnant, you knew that was going to be 18 years of hell. 18 years of, at least 18 years, but a lifetime of hell. Because every time you look at that child, he reminds you of that man. He reminds you of that guy that you know for a fact wasn't going to do nothing, but you gave it to him anyway. And see, now you got these young boys out here who they acting like they mama because they was raised by a bunch of women. They get emotional. And see, the problem is that your daughters have to suffer because the boys don't have emotional intelligence. They don't have the intelligence. They don't have that. They're too emotional. They flick off at the sound of a wrist. Flick of a wrist, they go in and flick off. You know why they do that? Because they weren't taught to home it in. See, a lot of times with boys, and I'll tell people this. A lot of times with boys, this is why it's easier for women to go to college and get degrees and things like that, because girls are trained. I'm not saying trained, but they're taught to listen and observe and and write and do these things. Girls are more prone to just be able to sit and learn. Boys are more proactive. You gotta show them shit. This is why when they took gym away and didn't make it a critical element of a child's education, this is why, you got boys who are out of control. Because I remember back when I was a kid, we had gym. And gym was like for an hour, we got played, we did, played sports, did this, stuff like that for an hour to get that crap out of us at recess. That's why you have recess. You go past schools and you don't see recess no more. Where's recess? Oh, recess? We don't do recess no more. What do you mean you don't do recess no more? Our culture, man. Our culture is messed up, man. It's one of those things where you just think about it and you look at it and say to yourself, man, what can we do, man? How can we fix it? I always said this, man. As far as kids are concerned, I think this generation is pretty much lost. Sad to say it. The only way you can save the next generation of kids is that you have to, as parents, take a more proactive role in your kids' lives. Now, women are deciding, you know what? I ain't gonna have no kids. I want to live my life, and that's cool. I mean, at the end of the day, you want to live your life, that's cool. You heard your mama and your aunties talk about men ain't nothing, men trash, men garbage and all that, and it's the patriarchy and all that. Come on, man. The last 50 years, black families have been under a matriarchy. Last 50 years, where's the fathers been? The fathers ain't been in the household. The fathers ain't been there. Y'all done said it yourself. He's a piece of garbage. He's some shit. Dad ain't been there. So how's a child living under patriarchy and the main person that's in the house running it is the mother? That's a matriarchy. I get tired of women saying it's the patriarchy. It's the patriarchy. The patriarchy ain't running your household. You running a household. A patriarchy is when the man is at the top. That's a patriarchy. A matriarchy is when the woman's at the top. And I think the reason why they say they got to destroy the patriarchy is because they think the patriarchy is just some misogynistic thing that's been going on for years and years and years. If this was 1920, 1930, 1940, you would have a point. But this is 2026. Women can vote. Women can get any job they want. They can go to university. They can buy their own houses. They can buy their own cars. They can go on vacation. They can get their degrees. They can get a passport. They can do everything a man could do now. Well, so where's the patriarchy at? Where's the freaking patriarchy at? And see, guys, I always tell guys this. There are a lot of guys out there that say that, women ain't shit. No, I'm gonna tell you something, bro. We're just as much to blame as the women. Just as much to blame. Because at the end of the day, you got dudes out here who will go ahead and screw a woman over. You screw a woman over, and then when she get to the next guy, she treat the next guy like some shit. Because she don't want to get burned, so she burns the next man. And then the cycle goes on and on. The man burns the woman burns the chick burns the man burns the woman burns the next man, then the next man burns the next woman. It goes on and on and on and on. And this is when you have these. Another thing is killing these culture, these relationship podcasts, yo. I can't stand these relationship podcasts, yo. I can't. Honestly, I react to the videos, but honestly, yo, tonight's conversation, man, honestly, I give credit to Ace Metaphor because he found a loophole that Derrick Jaxn couldn't find because Derrick Jaxn couldn't keep his dick in his pants. Ace Metaphor said, you know what? I'm going to have discipline and I'm going to start tonight's conversation. This man goes all over the country with his panel, and then all they do is they pander to women. They pander to women. I saw the play when I first started seeing episodes. I started seeing those clips online. I said, man, he pandering to the women. Because every question is scripted. Every question is scripted. Man bad. Man bad. Woman victim. Man bad. Man bad. Woman victim. Same old song and dance. And honestly, Ace Metaphor, I want to ask Ace Metaphor, did you get your idea for tonight's conversation from the people that work or preachers at church? Because it seems like what Ace Metaphor does with the church, with tonight's conversation, the preachers did with the church. That's another thing about the culture. I remember back in the days where churches had male, was good. They had male people out there. They had males out there doing that. They had males. They had male what's the word I'm looking for? They're congregating, you know how you have the singles congregation, you have the male congregation, things like that. But over time, that stopped. Yeah, you can get a donation, man. Hit the donation up. Hit the donation up. Hit the donation, man. Send a super chat or something. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Now, these preachers found out or figured out what Ace Metaphor figured out. I gotta preach my sermon to the woman. I gotta go ahead and I gotta go ahead, hit the donation button. Yeah, I gotta go ahead and preach to the women because the women are the ones that got the purse strings. Women got the purse strings. I'm going to go ahead and do the religious version of tonight's conversation. That's why a lot of men don't go to church. The reason why a lot of men don't go to church is because they know the play. They know the play by these preachers. And then I think Ace Metaphor, what he did was he saw what the preachers was doing and said, hey, they getting rich off this. The mega church is getting rich off this. I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead and do it for the relationship realm of shit. And tonight's conversation was born. And now he's making hundreds of thousands of dollars per event. I'm not even mad at him. Because at the end, I'm going to tell you something about shows like tonight's conversation. I'm not trying to go on a tonight's conversation rant or whatever. I'm going to tell you about shows about like tonight's conversation. You know why they mess up the culture? Because they perpetuate one thing without giving you the truth. The truth is there's problems on both sides of the equation. Are men perfect? Hell no, we're not perfect. Not by a long shot. But women aren't perfect either. But tonight's conversation and the church, they'll make it seem like women are these delicate flowers and men are the evil empire. Black men are the evil empire. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. We as black men are the evil empire. We are the evil empire. And honestly, I can't be mad at that. I can't be mad at that because it's a money-making machine. I'm not going to stop a man making his money. But the problem is all you're doing is fueling the hate for men. The hateful men. Hate for the black man. What that dude Funky Dineva said, we were cancer. We are straight black men are cancer. I don't understand. Like, how can a man who is in the LGBTQ community tell us that straight black men are cancer? I always say, you know what? I'm gonna tell you why so many people are attacking us as black men, heterosexual black men, and this is the reason why the culture's messed up, is because it's profitable. It's profitable. Dude, Funky Dineva could post something like that and go viral. Pew! Go viral. Person can go viral off saying something like that. And then you wonder why we aren't respected like that. You got hip-hop culture being taken over by other races of people. You got Asians making a mockery of our culture. Yeah, I saw that video. Salute the Young Don Reacts, man, making a video about how Asians, man, they mocking our culture, but they want to be us. Everybody wants to be us. Everybody wants to be black. But see, we let them hijack the culture because we didn't put no guardrails around the culture. That's why the whole Cheyenne Brown situation blew up. I knew she was a false prophet from the beginning. I knew she was nothing but a big button, a smile. I knew that from the beginning. But see, the thing is that when people believe what they believe, they don't give a damn. They don't give a damn about Cheyenne Brown. As long as she's saying something that benefits them. But it's kind of funny that everything was cool with Cheyenne Brown until she started switching her narrative. She started holding women accountable, and now people are turning on her. See how that works? See how that crap works? But yeah, man, I mean, the culture messed up because now baby mama culture, everybody with the baby mama culture and the reveal parties and all. I'm like, yo, like, y'all don't want to get married. Y'all rather have kids out of wedlock than get married, do it the right way, and raise a family that way. Oh, I can have a baby daddy, but I don't want to get married. Oh, you draw the line when you get married. You'll let your boss, you'll submit to your boss, but you won't submit to your husband. You'll have a baby by a random man, but won't have a baby by your husband. Yeah, I said it. You'll have a baby by some random dude, but you don't want to get married, or y'all don't want to get married. Y'all just want to have kids out of wedlock and think that's cool. And then people say, well, your mother's a single mother. Yeah, she's a single mother. And I told my mother, I said, yo, like, you couldn't marry my father, but, at the end of the day, it is what it is. That's why I don't have no kids. I wanted to do it the right way. I wanted to get married first, then have a child. That's the way you're supposed to do it. That's the conservative way of doing it. But see, now, since you got feminism and all this stuff coming up, you ain't got to do it. You ain't got to do it that way no more. People shacking up, having kids, and, once a relationship fall apart, then the kids are in the middle and you got to go pay child support and all that. I always tell guys this, man. Woman try to put you on child support, man, you better ask for 50-50 custody. Because if she put you on, you better off have 50-50 custody than her putting you on child support. If I got one son, F that. Give me my son. I'll take him for a week. You take him for a week. Then you can't put me on goddamn child support. Because I got him 50% of the time. And I always tell people this about child support. This is another thing that messes up the culture. Then you basically giving the government free rights to do whatever they want. Oh, I'm getting money for my son. I'm getting money for my daughter. No. See, it's two consenting adults used to sit together and say, you know what? If I'm the father of my child, I'm going to give you X amount of dollars every month. We'll set up a bank account. I have it come out of my check personally, so I ain't got to. See, that's the thing about child support. Women don't understand, and I know some women understand it, but a lot of women don't understand child support. You don't get the full $500. That you don't get the full $500 because it's pre-taxed. It's pre-taxed. Let me say that again. It's pre-taxed. So you think you're getting $500 a month, but really in reality, you're only getting $340 a month because it's pre-taxed. But if you and the baby father would have came up with a solution and said, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give you $500 out of my check, and I'll put it in a, you know how you put it in one of those side accounts, and the money just comes out every 2 weeks. Yeah, you do that. You go get a bank account. It's in both of y'all names, or you put it in child's name or whatever. The mother has access to the account. You put the money in every 2 weeks. She ain't got no excuses. Or you get the baby, you get the son to get your daughter 50-50 custody. She ain't got to take it for child support. But then he'd be like, well, what if he got 3 baby mamas? Well, I would say, you know what? You was the 3rd baby mama. You knew he had 2 other baby mamas. You know that dude was some shit. Why would you have a baby by him? And then women be, oh, he hit. I said, you can't hide no 2 other kids. I mean, if he had 2 other kids, he Houdini. He Houdini for real. Because somebody gonna come out and say he got 2 other baby mamas. And for that dude, I tell the dude, I said, Slim, first of all, man, that's too much money, man. Wrap it up. Or get a vasectomy or something, man. Do something like that. See, we got this baby mama culture, baby father culture. It's all fucked up. Baby mama, all this stuff. Baby father, something like, yo, like, whatever happened to having a married family? You get married to a woman and having kids and raising the kids. And even if the marriage don't work out, at least you tried. You did it the right way. And if you got a divorce after 10 to 15 years, then okay, you know what I'm saying? The kids are seen the right way. Be a proactive father in the life of the kids. I got one of my best friends, man. He was married to his wife for almost 20 years. It didn't work out. They got a divorce, but he's still involved in his kids' lives every single day. He's involved in all 3 of his kids' lives. Great father. That's the thing, though. It be like women be thinking that a lot of these dudes are deadbeat dads. Yeah, you got a deadbeat dad, but I guarantee you, there's some women out there that, you know, got a deadbeat dad and ain't even gonna think about it. Matter of fact, I got a clip from Country Wayne, and he talks about this. Country Wayne talks about this. And I thought this was a very, 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 very interesting clip.
What, man? My baby mamas are ungrateful. And I want them to see this. Yeah, I see it. They the most ungrateful. I love them.
Yeah.
But I got the most ungrateful baby mama. I'm going to tell the truth. 6 figures a year.
And it's still not enough.
And they still talk about what I do for somebody else.
Oh, man.
This my business.
Damn.
What? I don't tell you what you do with your body. Why you worrying about my money? You say my money more valuable than you. They are grateful, man. And they gonna get mad when they see this. Don't cut it out either. All the baby mamas gonna agree with me because these women getting hundreds of thousands. I'm talking about a couple of baby mamas, 400,000 a piece. This baby mama, 100-something thousand. This baby mama, 100. I don't have to pay that.
Bruh, $100,000. And I guarantee you that's annually. And they still mad? They still mad? You mad at Country Wayne because he probably got with 2 or 3 kids, one baby mama maybe getting more. The problem is one baby mama get more than the other baby mama. That's why they mad. They mad. I don't know why you mad for. He tell you, as long as he take kids, you shouldn't be mad.
True.
But they be like, this really ain't nothing. I wish my mama was come from the grave. I'm telling on them right
Because they
now.
always compare to what you have.
I'm telling, that's why they need to stop talking to me on the phone because they know I'm going to tell it. Listen, if Black women know that they were saying, and women in America knew my baby mom was saying that really ain't that much. Much as we don't been through where we come from. Man, they forgot, man. It don't be the people who make the money don't forget where they come from. It's who you give the money to forget where they came from. I could never.
Facts, man. It's not the people that make the money that forget. It's the people that received the money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the baby mamas, if you paying them $100,000 a year, they forget. They want more. They want more money. These goddamn kids, man, these kids that, you came up from the mud to make sure that they got, and then you tell them, hey, this ain't come cheap. Kids are spoiled, man. That's another thing, man. We're gonna talk about this after these kids are spoiled as shit these days, man.
Forget, because I'm still grinding. Mm-hmm. They forgot. They don't even know how much money they get. They ain't nothing. I don't have to do nothing, but after I pay my bills and pay my Benz payment and pay this big house that you were never going to get in. They were never. I tell them some of my baby moms, you never was going to make it here.
Let's be honest.
So you can't walk in heaven doors with hell shoes on, talking about with your bent shoes. This is nothing. I see the bottom of your feet. I can't wait till you leave so I can sweep the floor. But I can't talk junk to them, so I just decided I talk to them more. I talk about them on stage and podcasts, but it's the truth. They ungrateful, man. I tell them they don't even know they're ungrateful. Those numbers I give, I say, bro, there's no celebrity giving their baby mamas the way I give y'all. Even if they with another man, I don't care. They free. I don't have to get that amount. And my kids, it ain't just them. My kids getting 6 figures. So they don't even have to give the kids no money. But they think they not getting that. And still catch attitude. They'll still catch attitude.
So you telling me you giving them 6 figures and the kids getting money? I thought that was child support. I'm like, yo, like, bro, you gonna run yourself dry, man. You giving the baby mama 6 figures and the kids 6 figures? Like, who that? Like, Slim. You ain't gonna be rich for the rest of your life.
Once in a while. You don't understand. You ain't doing nothing but nothing but bring off the kids back to my house. Give me the money. I got a nice stepmama for him. She can't wait to get him. I got the best stepmama for him in the history. She can't wait to get him. I'm overpaying child support, man.
Yeah, man. Honestly, what he said, man, it's a lot of people out here, man. It's a lot of these women out here, man, that be ungrateful, man. Like, they got great father figures. They got great fathers in the kids' lives and still want to make their lives a living hell. And you got, I had women in the comments of that video. There were women in the comments saying, I wish I had a father like Country Wayne. Because a lot of they baby daddy some garbage. They baby daddies ain't getting $50 a month. And for any man that ain't doing for his kid, yo, I got 2 words for you, man. Like Generation X, man. There's no way in the world you should not be able to do for your kids. If you can't do for if you can't provide for one child, don't have another one. If you can't provide for 3 kids, don't have 4 kids. That's the thing people need to understand. See, this hookup culture is something that has pretty much brain rotted our whole culture. Because we think that, oh, I can just hook up with this man, or I go with this chick or whatever, and it's all gravy. It's all gravy. But it ain't all gravy, though. It ain't gravy. Like, what the hell, man? We lost the culture a long time ago. When we let the corporations get it, or age of social media, where now everybody sees the culture and want a piece of the culture. We lost it a long time ago. And I think the reason why we did is because black folk are some of the most, I wouldn't say impressionable people, because we just think that, everybody's not for you. Yeah, all that white man, he want to give me a record deal and all that. I'm like, yo, like, we had all our own record labels. We had our own distributors, all that stuff, but we let the white corporations take that. We had our own TV shows, our own writers and all. They had Living Color. You had all these different shows, Martin, and all these different shows we made and came up with, and now the corporations that did it. Now people, oh, Tyler, I say, I'm gonna tell you something. Tyler Perry is a businessman, got enormous respect for him. But Tyler Perry as a person, I'm like, yo, like, bro, how many movies can you make about struggle? How many movies you gonna make about struggle, bro? But see, Tyler Perry knows that's his audience. Just like Ace Metaphor. Just like Yacht Awakening. They know their audience. Tyler Perry is a billionaire off of black struggle. I mean, I got to give it to Tyler Perry. He knows. He knows what the deal is. Make this movie about struggle, or a black woman struggling, or a black man being evil, and women are going to go see it. Honestly, people ask me, have you seen any Tyler Perry movie? I said, no. I haven't watched one Tyler Perry movie in my life. Never. It's not that I don't want to support him. It's like, yo, why would I want to watch a Tyler Perry movie? I'm not doing it, yo. See, the problem is, and people call me different because I don't listen to Drake, or I don't listen to Kendrick Lamar and all these other individuals. Man, bro, I listen to whatever I want to listen to. I watch whatever I want to watch. I'm me. I'm solo dolo. See, people aren't their own man. People aren't their own woman. Everybody has to be some part of a clique or some part of something. I always tell women, I'm like this: if you are one of one, the right man will find you. But if you're 2 or 55, then you know what I'm saying, you won't get the top tier man, but you have to be a one of one. That's what most men look for in a woman. They want a woman that's a one of one, not a one of 58. You know, all this, 50-50 and all this culture. I'm like, Slim, back in the days, y'all thinking women and all the women ain't work. Women worked. They probably worked low remedial jobs, but they worked. People say, I don't want to struggle no more. I don't want to struggle no more. I'm like this, yo. Ways economy is, everybody struggling. I don't care if you're making 200 grand or 150 grand or 40 grand. Everybody struggling. Everybody struggling. Unless you're a millionaire or something. Even millionaires are struggling because taxes high as shit. But yeah, we lost the culture, man. And I think, and honestly, I don't think we'll be able to get it back anytime soon. Because when we try to talk about the culture and we talk about different things, black folk want to shut it down. Oh, you don't need to act like that. If somebody tell you don't need to act like that, they get all pissed off. They get mad at you. They get mad at you because they want you to let this shit go. They want you to let the shit go. Which is sad though. They don't want you to try to, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't want you to try to reprimand them or tell them, yo, man, that ain't right, man. Because they'll call you Uncle Tom, or they call you a coon, or they call you, something that, hey, man, you can't talk bad about black folk. I can't talk bad about black folk. Y'all make it easier. But see, the thing is, y'all don't want me to talk bad about you in front of a white man. But then I can't correct y'all and none of that. Like, so you want the effery to continue. You want the debauchery to continue. And all you doing is you are perpetuating what everybody else think about you. When y'all do the same ish every day, all you doing is perpetuating what they want or what they think about you. See, the one thing about different cultures, they got checks and balances. We don't have checks and balances in the black culture. If you look at the Asian culture, and I studied the Asian culture because I have Asian in my family. You study the Asian culture, like the Japanese culture, you can't act a certain way in the Japanese culture. Because in the Japanese culture, they'll disband you from the family. Italians, same thing. Remember back in the days when the five families or whatever, they used to run gambling and all the construction racket and all that stuff. But you know one thing the Italians didn't want to do? They didn't want to deal with the drugs. Because they knew the drugs would destroy. And if you were caught selling drugs or distributing drugs and you were in the Italian family, they got rid of your ass. That's the Italian culture. Japanese culture, even the Spanish culture. They got codes. Even Africa, different tribes, they got codes. Muslim culture, they got codes. Even the Jewish culture, they got codes. We the only ones that ain't got no codes. We have no guardrails. If a chick want to go out there and shake her ass like Sexy Red, oh, it's all good. She's liberated. But then get mad when a man say certain things about her online or comment a certain derogatory remark on her picture, then she want to get pissed off. Yeah. They want to get pissed off because a man said something in their picture, on their picture. But if you put it out there, men gonna do it. Men are visual creatures. And see, the whole gold digging thing, you gotta blame the men. You gotta blame the men. A lot of these dudes, man, they leave with their money and think their money going get a woman. Yeah, you'll get a woman for a couple of days, but as soon as that money run out, yo, she gone. She gone to the next man. Then you mad, you pissed off at the world, and you going on TikTok or going on Instagram ranting and shit, talking about, oh, she took advantage of me. Yeah, she gonna take advantage of you. You led with your money instead of leading with your goddamn character. That I get tired of that, man. I like OnlyFans. I don't understand how women make money on OnlyFans show. That to me is some of the dumbest crap I've ever seen, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I know I'm going on a tangent, but yo, I was thinking about this. Them like, yo, I watched the video. I may do a live stream and just review that video on a live stream, man. But this dude, man, this chick actually met her #1 supporter on OnlyFans, and she looked disgusted, man. It's not a black woman, it's a white woman, but she looked disgusted. I was like, yo, tricking, and ain't getting nothing in return. But yeah, man, it's been an hour. Never did a live stream this long. I don't know. I might start doing more live streams though. I might start doing more live streams. I think this channel, you know, I can get the live stream game going though. But yeah, I'm gonna get on out of here, man. That's why I think we've lost the culture. Let me know what you think in the comments below, man. I'm about to get on out of here, man. I salute to y'all, man. Salute to everybody that came through. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream right now so I can get me some dinner. See y'all later, man. I'm out.